Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare a 19th century pasta from a Neapolitan cookbook. We start with the sauce. The sauce for this pasta is the gravy of a beef stew. We find similar sauces for pasta in many 19th century Italian cookbooks. We need a piece of beef, 1 onion, 1 tomato, a thick slice of prosciutto, more or less half centimeter thick, cured pork fatback, called lardo in Italian, parsley and rosemary, black pepper and cloves, broth. We are using chicken broth and red wine. First, we cut the prosciutto. We cut 1/3 into pieces 2 centimeters long, while we diced the remaining prosciutto to use it for the soffritto. Then we mince the lardo. The aim is to melt it when we make the soffritto, so it's important to finely mince and not just dice it. We remove some silver skin. There's no need to do it with a long cooking stew, but this way we lard it more easily. We make some holes in the beef and insert the longer pieces of prosciutto. Try not to press too hard to prevent the meat from breaking. Then we stack some cloves. The quantity is up to your taste, but we suggest not using too much. We coarsely chop the parsley with also the stems. And we finally cut the onion. It'll be a long cooking, so you can choose to just coarsely dice it. Then we grind the black pepper in the mortar. We use a generous amount, but if you prefer, you can use less. Now we peel the tomato. We place it in boiling water for a few seconds. When the skin starts to break, we take it out. Now we can easily peel it. Some tomato varieties may need to be boiled for a few seconds more. Then we dice it. Now we place the minced lardo in a hot pan and we let it melt. Then we add the diced prosciutto. We fry it for a few seconds and we add the onion. When the onion wilts, we add the parsley. Today, in Italian cuisine, parsley is always added to the dishes at the end of cooking, but in the 19th century cookbooks, it's frequently added to the soffritto. Then we add the black pepper and the salt. Lardo and prosciutto are already salted, so you don't need too much salt. We add the meat and slightly brown it on both sides. Then we add the diced tomato and the red wine. We use just 1 tomato. The aim is not to give a red color to the sauce, but a more complex flavor with a good balance of acidity and sweetness. Now we let the stew cook, adding broth each time the liquids start to dry. We cooked it for 4 hours or a little more, but the time can change depending on the size of the meat and the cut you choose. Now, while the stew cooks, we have plenty of time to make pasta from scratch. We use remilled durum wheat semolina, but you can make a good pasta with any kind of flour. Then we need eggs and salt. We place the flour on the kneading surface and we add 2 eggs and a pinch of salt. We start with 150 grams of flour for each egg. But the size of the eggs can vary a lot, so if there's not enough liquid, add a bit of water or more flour if you use bigger eggs. We need at least for 15 minutes, or until we reach a smooth consistency. Now we roll the dough, flouring the working surface and the pasta sheet now and then. We are rolling a thin sheet that we'll cut to make tagliatelle. We chose tagliatelle, but you can use this sauce for any kind of pasta. The first edition of this cookbook from the author Francesco Moffo, titled La Cucina Casereccia, that means homemade cooking, was printed in Naples in 1816 and reprinted several times throughout the 19th century. It's an interesting source for the early 19th century Italian cuisine. When the stew is almost ready, we add some rosemary twigs that we'll remove before using the sauce. and cook for 5 minutes. We let the stew rest for a while and then cut it. We cook the pasta in salted water. The cooking time depends on the flour you used and how hard was the dough. We drain the tagliatelle and toss them in the pan with the sauce. Now we are ready to serve. We plated the pasta and add grated cheese. We used pecorino, but you can use parmigiano or the hard cheese you prefer. This pasta is intended to be served with the stew aside. This is not an everyday dish, but it's surely worth the time. The complex and rich flavor of this pasta and stew is a delicious way to experience the Italian culinary culture of 200 years ago.